Story time. So I know this girl, right? She was a dancer. She had met this guy. She knew him for like 3 years or whatever, right? And the whole time that she knew him, they was like staying separately. She stayed in her own place with her kids and her. She had a nice car and a nice house, and he stayed in his apartment. Wherever they stay, like maybe like 30 minutes away from each other or whatever. And so, long story short, they stay like they used to kick it like often. And then there were times where they was like not messing around. This was within 3 years, but they were like mostly fucking around the entire 3 years. Blah. But he was doing his thing, she was doing her thing. Then boom. He's not American. He's from Nigeria. And he was like, yeah, I need help with, you know, becoming a resident. Blah, blah, blah. So she was like, okay, whatever. She was like, so they were talking about it for a few years, and boom, one day he just came to her. He was like, I want to get married to you out the blue. Can we move together? And she was like, yeah, because she was ready to settle down. So that's what she was going for. So, anyways, they come and he is, okay, what do I want to say? So they started to date each other. I mean, they made plans to get married within like 3 weeks from the time that he asked her. He just came out the blue. Then he had to tell her that he almost got married to somebody else like 2 months before that, but something went wrong and she didn't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. So now he wants her to do it. And she didn't even know that there was another lady involved prior to all these years. So she still accepted him anyways. And with her accepting him came a big deal of consequences because for the simple fact that he never told they got married and he had some ladies at his wedding that wasn't a relative, and he had his other family members, and his wife had a friend there, and uh, so they got married, and then when they got married, it was just everything just went downhill, like literally, like down, 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 downhill. It was just some funny business going on. She couldn't really keep up with him, you know. Yeah, so she couldn't keep up with him because he was in a different relationship with someone else. But she was trying to like figure out what it was. She didn't know if it was a cultural thing of why he wasn't around and why they weren't doing things together. And she didn't know, or if he just was with another woman, or if he didn't like her. So she was like curious to want to know like what is the deal. So um, 2 weeks after the marriage started, so within the first, I'll say they got married, and then this is what happened. So they got married. I'm trying to remember how she told me this. So they got married, and then that weekend, it was like a Friday when they got married. Him and her, they had sex that night, and then after that, they probably had sex maybe like a week after that, and then they weren't having sex at all, and also the real reason why they were having sex is because he wasn't home. He was he was he was leaving the house every day at 6 in the morning, and he would come home. If it was like a weekday, he would come home at 10, 11 p.m. and he would get in the shower and he would go to sleep. No dinner, no conversation, no sex. And then on the weekends, he would come in at like 3 in the morning. So she was like curious, like, because it was like every week. And she tried to talk to him. He refused to talk to her. So then she was like telling all her friends, me and her cousins. And we all was like, why don't you put an air tag in his car? And she was like, I don't want to do that. That's not right, and blah, blah. And then she was always crying, like, I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. And we're like, well, I told you to put an air tag in the car. So finally, she bought an air tag. She activated the air tag, and she put the air tag in the car. And that was when she started to notice an address that he was going to every single day. She watched it for 2 weeks before she said anything. There was an address that he was going to. When he left the house at 6 in the morning, he went to her house. To this address, right? And he'd be there until we'll get to around 6:37-ish. And then he would leave at 10 o'clock every single day for like 2 weeks. So, and then at around 7 p.m., he'll go back to that same address. And he'll be at that address until like, 9:30 on the weekdays. And then at 10 o'clock, or it's 9:30, between 9:30 and 10, and at 10 o'clock, boom, he'll be straight at the house, ready to go to sleep at 10, 11-ish, whatever time. And then after that, it's just crazy. I was just like, this is, looking into that, it's just like a big ass joke. And she didn't know what to do. She was so stressed out. She was ready to end everything. She was like, I gotta end this. I can't do this. And blah, blah. And then people were saying, sometimes it's like this when you first get married and da, da, da. Because they gotta get used to you. You're like, nah, this is disrespect. This has nothing to do with getting used to somebody. So then from there, she finally confronted him. She had screenshots of the same address, and she said, who lives on this street called Blage? And he was like, I don't know. I probably was working over there. Why are you asking me about where I'm working at? And then she was like, so you work there every day from 7 to 10? And then at nighttime from 7 to 10, you work there twice in a day? Wow. And then another thing, when she'll call him, he would tell her, do not call me. I'm at work. I'm busy. I'm working. I will call you back when I am done. And I'd be like, and she would be like, he's been gone from the house for like 13 to 15 hours. So how is he working all those hours? And I was like, I don't know. Like, that seems like he's like totally lying to you.